And yes, this is it.
We live.
We are live. This is FFS episode number 47. My God. When you don't have noise in your head, everything just flows. Man.
Everything flows, bro.
Mhm.
Can you imagine?
So,
We pre-Christmas Eve.
are you feeling the Christmas spirit or what?
um, Not really, but I
The
can
only,
see it in the streets. I think what I'm seeing more is there seem to be quite a lot of traffic on the road. So that means either people are traveling up country, people are up and about doing their usual Christmas shopping. People are up and about, enjoying the festive season, probably going out to restaurants or to one or two activities. So you can feel the buzz, you can feel that vibe in the air. Of course, like here, they have literally lined up. Let me even see if I'll be able to pick up. The way they light up the streets. The way you'd have like malls and places, all having these Christmas lights. Let me see, city of Kigali.
we are in Athi River.
Mm,
It's uh, just a bit. I'm just seeing more people on the streets.
yeah.
Watu mtaani, but I'll only talk about Christmas spirit when I have millions flowing in my account. Then I can say, now that is Christmas, as opposed to this facade that we get exposed to. Then
Yes.
on January, the same bunch of characters will be here. Oh, oh, Nikugumu, oh, you're like there were guys chomping chickens here. Man. What the fuck happened? I remember we never really had any what we call outstanding Christmas when we were growing up
Yeah.
because Sharif Mustafa karibu sana. Uh,
And
uh,
by the way, Sheriff shared with me the pictures. You guys met up. Was it yesterday or
no, it
today?
was the other Saturday. Where did he shared them on Twitter?
No, you shared it on. Sorry, you shared it on. You shared it on WhatsApp.
Okay, okay, okay. So as I was saying, we never had much of a very explosive Christmas because our Christmases were never very explosive. And I used to question my dad, hey, vipi bwana, mbona sherehe haziko motomoto? And he will tell me,
Mm-hmm.
sit back, relax. I'll show you why.
Your dad.
Yeah, he'll tell me, let dad relax. Then on 2nd
Mm-hmm.
of January,
Yeah.
he'll pull me on, that news feature that normally appears on 2nd of January or on 3rd of January, where there are long queues in the bookshops and the
Oh,
uniform
yes.
centers. So he'll say me, look at
The
that.
back to school
Now listen,
euphoria
he would ask me,
or
when did I
madness.
pay your school fees? We used to pay our first term school fees on third term closing day. When you go to third term closing day, he'll send us with the school fees. Then, after closing the school, he'll take me and my brother for fitting a new uniform. Then buy books. Then say, now look, these guys are stressed and you are relaxed here. Do you want to be in that position? Do you want to be
That's
stuck
true.
somewhere? Somebody taking measurements of you in a very long line, hustling for books and whatnot. And we bought books during Christmas, during that end of the year, is it end of the year discount or something like that? So my old man, based on the resources that he had, that's what he used to do. And
My
say,
old
there's
man
no
is
point.
also like that. So
Say,
for us, the way I mean, a little different, but for us it would be right before Christmas, like let's say last week or is it this week? Let's say this week is when you start preparing us now for schools opening come the 3rd or the 4th of January. And typically what you would be doing now is writing out all those checks for our school fees. You would write them out a week before Christmas. Then by the time we are now getting into the festivity season, everything is taken care of. You know, your school shopping for back to school come January is already taken care of. The money is already set aside. Now whatever is left is now for us to enjoy. Now, there used to be, of course we used to have that phenomena of, getting new clothes on Christmas Day and all that stuff. So there are probably some times that probably money would be tight. And those would be the times that my dad would just call us all and tell us, this year, we'll not have the usual get new clothes for Christmas. But then we'll have taken care of all the fundamentals. Everything will be done. So yes, he was pretty much like your dad in terms of even having that foresight and not waiting to be sort of caught up by that whole
And also,
festivity.
I call it
Get lost in that.
we call it financial situation awareness. You are aware of your resources, and you look at the priorities, because right now everybody is busy munching chicken, and
They've slaughtered a few goats.
the what do I call it? The cabbages are waiting for you on standby. In the month of January has 90 days.
Yes.
Other months have 30 days. January has 90 days. So it's going to be,
It's
it's
3 months
like
in one.
it's like the floods in Kenya. We know very well this is the time for floods. No preparation, no nothing. You get swept. You get swept away by floods. You die. Then after floods, then you die of famine. You really look stupid. I'm very sure that whoever is receiving you on the other side of the world looks at you like, "Hi, you again." I'm chokagi kukufa namna hii. So it also reflects in our personal lives. People really blow up on the. I have no problem with people celebrating. In fact, if you end the year with a 30 million shilling deal, blow away 5M, no problem. But if you are just talking of a usual, if you are an employee and you only ended up with that usual 100% bonus, you better sink that bonus into next year's budget. Take care of the school fees, even rent for January. Take care of it. At least your transition from December to January will be somehow less stressful.
Stressful. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think these are issues of just peer pressure, and it's very
I remember
unfortunate.
there's a very
Yep.
interesting concept of, I'm showing now images of Mombasa Road, and I guess these are the same on the guys that are going on the western part of Kenya. Talking of, I've heard there are a lot of people are stuck on the road, and it's you could almost to the day, to the time, hit repeat. Last year was the same as this. And somebody could say yes, there are more cars than can occupy, but I think much of it is also planning. And I think if our traffic police had the foresight to start either sensitizing people, those who wish to travel to Mombasa for their vacation, or those that are going up country, those that are taking up Nakuru Road, there'll probably be either alternative routes they have organized, probably have a lot of the traffic police all across that road to ensure people are not misbehaving on the road, because part of it is people just overlapping.
Or you simply regulate road usage for personal cars. Plain and simple.
100%. So it's all this planning, and I think
You regulate
what
it
you are
like
talking about
during month of December,
yes,
from let's say 15th of December. You have to book to use that road. You know what
And
I'm
it's
saying?
exactly, and put either
Book
some
and
kind
pay.
of a toll road or some kind of a thing
Yes.
to, or even
Yeah.
sensitize people. Take your those that are planning to go home. Why don't you consider leaving this time instead of everyone? You know, we are the usual last minuters, last minute guys, last minute shopping, last minute,
And what
travel
is so
plans.
unfortunate, what is so unfortunate, some of those vehicles are hired. I don't know, you want to show people at home that you are doing very well, so you go hire a humongous Prado there. You want to show people that you are the creme de la creme of the society.
You're the
And
dog.
I find it to be quite mentally limiting. So why do you want to show people that you are doing well? Why do you want to show people that, okay, if you want to really show that you are the real deal, hire a helicopter. Mm. Kodisha helicopter too. So it really tells us who is it upbringing, or I don't know what's going on, but I find it very shambolic that after dodging poverty for 10 months or 11 months, you scrap whatever you have to hire a car, and that money could just go to Ole Sereni and have the time of your life. That money that you are using, you hire that Prado fuel. Hey, Lutu family, karibu sana. You hire that humongous SUV. Fuel is at 200 shillings per liter from Nairobi to Shags and back. I don't know how much you are spending. Then the money will be blowing up country to show people that you are the real deal. Why don't that go to Oloserani or Eka Hotel or some do some budget and go to Kempinski and spend your. There are so many places within Nairobi and outskirts. You can have all the fun that you want. It's not that you are going to do anything major there. So anyway, that is
It's
our
called,
culture.
once you understand the common, how your typical run of the mill man out there, man or woman, we think it, you know, we have a lot of, we think like a heart. Um,
And I think maybe it's because we have to consider the fact that we don't have feminine energy around us. Some of these people are being pushed by their wives. The mama wants to show huko nyumbani that she got married to. The family is
Wakazuri.
doing well. So some of these things you don't know who is pushing these men.
That's
You
true.
know,
A
that's
lot of
why
societal factors that are, and mostly it's external. It's
external.
external factors,
Hmm.
um, and it's that whole thing of you're impressing people who don't care about you, and they will have even forgotten about that big car or whatever you wanted to show off, and then you'll be left with a debt to deal with. It will
Yeah.
be all on you.
It's like the way they tell married men don't mix with the single men, because the single guys will show the married
It's
men what they are
poison.
missing. You are told this is hii ndio raha unakosa. Yeah,
Mm.
and I guess when you are out of the matrix, you're so enlightened on so many things. The level of because you are so enlightened to a point where sometimes you wish you didn't know these things. This knowledge is actually taxing because you see your fellow men there pushing 4 trolleys of weird stuff. You're like, "Ai, hey, ndugu yangu, pole sana, pole sana." And yeah. Upbringing and wanting to show that we may compare. Very true, very true. Daniel Mungai Njuguna, karibu sana. It's external and internal. And we normally say the chickens come to roost on 5th of January. Huh? We're just seated there,
And reality sinks in now.
waiting for the fallout. And the
Mm.
people who are pushing you to do these things now, they are far away. They are not. It is you. with your, is it Mshwari and the Tala, the when even when the January paycheck comes in, it's chopped up because you took some weird advances because you wanted to show that you can buy 10 bottles of, is it Glenfiddich at one point. Glenfiddich, you know how much one bottle?
NSC.
Uh, you want to show off. And man, I thank God that we grew up in a situation whereby resources were not so much in plenty. So we were able to see, because in fact, my late dad, he had access. There was something called the Bandari Club, KPA Bandari Club, whereby it was part of the company. You could make merry as much as you wish, then they'll chop it from your salary. He said, there's no way I'm going to make merry on credit. Are you stupid? Because he had colleagues whose paychecks were on the negative. Yeah, because it's a company club. In fact, it's a company thing. You go there, you show they just take your records. As long as your records
Yeah.
are there, swallow, chew, munch, and show off as you wish. But man, the moment things go wrong, end month, the chickens come to roost. And I think
Reality checks come.
it reflects on our, what we call it, our culture of not building. Because building takes discipline. Building takes a lot of foregoing so many luxuries. I'm not talking about building civil works, but building entities, cars, motorcycles, boats, inventions of it. These things take a lot of work. My favorite car, the Mercedes W124, that vehicle, they had to make 250 test models to get the correct one right.
Mm.
250. You can imagine the amount of discipline, the patience that is needed to do that. So it's not in us.
I mean, you can even look at the recent launch of the Cybertruck. Huh?
Mm.
When was it first announced? It was about 4 years back.
4 years ago.
He did, I think he had initially anticipated that they will have the production car out earlier,
Mm.
but it had taken 4 years to have a credible production certifiable car that you can put on the road. And because this was, it was disrupting almost everything that you know of, a pickup truck. The look and design is very different. You're now going down. I think it has several things. You're using steel, and steel apparently you can't round it. You have to only bend it. The steering, I think they have come up with a whole new approach around steering, that you can steer all the wheels, the front and the back. There's so much now that they have introduced to this new truck that was going against the grain. So that took a lot of patience. I bet there were some very frustrating nights that they probably had to work through. At times, it looked like this thing wouldn't get off
It's there's
of the
normally
factory.
it's
All
normally
those
a
things
war.
like that.
It's normally a war between
Mm,
engineering and design. The designers will design it in a certain way. Engineers will look at it and this thing is not practically possible.
yeah.
They tell you, how are you going to corner at this speed? It looks very aesthetic, but how are you going to manage the cooling system? Because part of the
And then
cooling
there's
has to
there's
rely.
also the regulatory guys you have to contend with.
Yes. So it's so many people coming together and you are trying to come up with a line of best fit. So that takes a lot of patience, which is not there because we normally say you cannot be disciplined in one area, then a complete rogue in another. So
Mm,
when you have such kind of a lifestyle in your professional setup, even in your personal setup, it is called cross filtration.
mm.
These concepts of discipline, they cross filter between your personal and professional life. So I will not
Yeah,
expect personal somebody who has such level of patience, or a country where is renowned for being building and coming up with concepts, or the, if we can call it, the discipline index is a certain value. We don't expect such people to be blowing away huge amounts of money on alcohol in December. Of course, they do have their celebrations, but I'm yet to hear of Americans crying, "Oh, January imefika." It's a very strange concept to them, because I remember someone I went to school with. Uh, he went to UK for the first time. The first month he lands in UK, he's working. Then, due to that financial pressure of transition, he went to the financial manager of the organization he was working with and asked for salary advance. Those guys looked at him and said, "What? Advance? That this is the first time we are hearing of such a thing. Please explain it to us. Is it a new invention?" Someone, "No, it's not an invention." So it shows who we are. It shows uh, it's a reflection of the kind of people that we have in general. This is a country that has never even, have we even manufactured our own bicycle? No, we have not. That discipline is missing, and fortunately, we have a chance of standing out as the weird ones. We need to. There has to be one person who stands out and say, "Hey, let me do something a little bit different," and that's why we embarked on this journey of the timer. And I want to make a very big shout out to the brother here, Sharif Mustafa. I really got stuck with the project last week. This week, in fact, the hub motor came in, and it turned out to be wider than our initial setup, because we came to discover, due to puniness, whoever we were dealing with initially, I don't want to, I'm really trying to avoid blame game, but it turned out whatever we were using before was a modified bicycle motor. So it was quite thin. So when we plugged in now the hub motor, the authentic motorbike motor, it looked completely off. And I got into a bit of an argument with my ground team, telling them, in my typical Kenyan fashion, chomelia kitu bwana, kata afu uchome tena. The guy said, yes, we can do so, but I assure you, you won't be able to make a high-speed corner on that motorbike. You will find yourself hugging the tarmac very quickly. So I had to, after a lot of hunting up and down, I talked to Sharif Mustafa. He was able to chip in, and whatever adjustment that we actually, it was a component that had to be built from scratch. There was no adjustment. You are removing one component and building another. So for that, Sharif Mustafa, you really rescued us a big time. And now what is left is there's some designs that Eric Babu, that is my partner on the project. He's a product designer. I came up with some designs. We are working on a cutout. Our statement, because let me just read, it is important that you put some things into writing, so that you don't take things for granted. What we actually talked about, because as much as the border is uh, part of our target market, we also want to ensure that we build something that strays away or moves away from the normal we normally have this thing that when something is meant for public use, it has to look rough, it has to look sketchy and whatnot. So the statement we made was that the Timer PYB 852 is an electric motorbike that is intended to introduce a touch of elegance and class to routine transport duties that are synonymous with courier services. With its visual palatability, the product should also be attractive to non-commercial riders. We want to build something that is beautiful. We are moving away from sketchiness. Like, look at our public transport. Look at the way the minibuses are built. A very sketchy affair because they know it's meant for the public. What is wrong with building something that is actually visually palatable, comfortable to ride in? It's an indication of your standard. Look at a bus in Germany. Can we post now in this in your current setup pictures?
Yes, you can.
There's this uh, Mercedes electric bus. Let me just share it. Mercedes electric bus. Yeah, this is. Let me just share it with you briefly. If you just check in your WhatsApp, there's something I've put for you. This is a Mercedes electric bus that is built for public transport. You can just share it. It shows the standards that people are operating with. You do not have to be a member of the elite class to ride in such a vehicle. You have seen it?
Yeah.
Mm. This is what ordinary citizens have access to when you are in a country like Germany. So compare this with the normal matatu in Kenya. So it's all about changing the mentality of people. Just because you are not a billionaire doesn't mean that you're a second class citizen. You're a tax paying person. Whatever you do is contributing to the well being of this country. Why can't you be subject to excellent or even at the very least decent services that look nice? So this is something in Kenya. This will be something for the VIPs. For the if it is Kenya, this is something that will carry very high-ranking officials. But in Germany, this is a public bus. So that is the no what I normally those are the gripes I have with the system. That's why I like using the statement normalizing high standards
Yeah,
because of
earlier I posted that image that had that statement. How you do anything is how you do everything. So, in relation to just what you had said in terms of the discipline that you apply in a professional sense should also cascade into your own personal life. Um, and then going back to the standards you guys are trying to elevate with regards to design work and I'm a big proponent of design myself. It's probably something that I enjoy on. It's kind of like a hobby, if I might say it. I do enjoy beautiful designed spaces or anything that has been beautifully designed, be it a piece of gadget, a device. It could be a room. It could be, whatever it might be. And that's why you find, particularly in Europe, where they promote these aspects that it's not just about the functionality element of it; it is also the design part of it. Um, so, and these things affect our psyche. These things affect our mindset in some sense.
mental health, in fact.
Yeah, because if you're in a beautifully designed city, it could be in the architecture of the buildings, it could be in the way the footpaths and they even have, what do they call that? Is it live art? With
Yeah,
statues or whatever it might be. You find it, public art that might be everywhere. Those things are intentional. It's not just we just want to promote our artists. All those elements, how you lay out your entire environment, has an influence to your mind.
it's part of
So
your it's part of the what you call inputs. What you take
yes,
apart from the physical input, the visual inputs play a very major role in overall health of an individual. And
Correct.
you look at, whenever I get to use if I have to go to town, I'll try very much to go for the train. Why? Which public means do we have here that uh, can enable you to listen to a podcast in peace?
Exactly. Yeah.
You can doze. You can actually, I've seen people falling asleep on the train. But in the ordinary
I
matatu,
used
that
to
is
do that many a times.
mm,
You could read a book, listen to a podcast, listen to some music.
mm,
It's not noisy, it's not crowded.
mm.
From the point you come into a railway station, you find some nice sitting area, clean and nice. The minute you get into the train car, it's the same experience. And then it's on time. If I'll be in town by 8:30, I'll be in town by exactly 8:30.
And
And
it's actually a reflection of order. What we
exactly.
That order is a very major aspect of health. Mental health, physical health comes from that. So
I think that's why you find Africa has to do all this mambo jumbo of we have to pray and leave it to God. While the very
but you
God
see,
has
but
given
God
us
has
the
already
tools
given
and the
you
capabilities to
God
set
has
that
given you the
order
intelligence.
in.
When you've graduated, they say give you the power to read.
Exactly.
Whenever you are doing something in your professional life, do you call your lecturer to ask him ati nimekwama hapa? You have a degree.
Or
Unasonga
go back
mbele
to your
bwana.
parents when you're an adult.
Yeah. So okay, I've no issue with someone saying a prayer, but I'd be very much at peace with you saying your individual prayer in your house. So when you come out, everyone has said his individual prayer, twende kazi, kila mtu Mungu mbele. But when you have to stop somewhere and pray that someone does his job effectively, now we have a problem. Now we have a very serious problem. If you have to pray that whoever is driving the vehicle will not overtake on the wrong lane, man, that has gone beyond prayers. That is some
Exactly.
that is now
Or praying for
uh,
safety while you're over speeding.
it's impossible. It's impossible. In fact, those are the what I call the bouncing prayers. God looks at them. Uh, are you a goat? If you're a goat, I would maybe listen to you, but you're a human being. We gave you everything. And if somebody like you has managed to build a piece of equipment that can fly across the Atlantic without any glitch, what is preventing you from covering 400 kilometers without any problem?
And yes, maybe there might be even other extraneous factors out there, but again, using
Because
your
look
own
at this.
God-given
Somebody,
intelligence is to reduce them to a minimum. Because even if you go to some of those places, go to the West, and even the train. I always say that the commuter train in Kenya, I could count the number of times it has run late, but I
it's
can
very
tell
rare.
you
In
90.
fact,
I could actually put it at probably
it's
a
more
little over
timely
95%.
it's more
It's always
timely
on
than
time.
the German ones. German trains are known for delays every
Oh,
day,
really?
20 minutes, 20 minutes late.
30, 20 minutes late.
Yeah, German trains are always because of okay, what they did.
Hmm.
Part of the system is modernized, another part is not modernized. So
They're
that
still running some
synchronization
old
bit.
trains.
Yeah, so they are known. If you Google German trains getting late, they'll tell you they are always running 30 to 20 minutes late.
I remember a friend who was in Amsterdam.
Mm.
He got into a train, and the train was late by about a minute or two. And he was so amazed that people are complaining that
Now in
it's a minute
Japan,
late. And
the
then
Jap-
you're like, a minute late, you're like, that's not bad, particularly the uncertainties that we live with in Africa. I mean, a minute
Japan
late, you're still operating
they
above
give you
average.
they give you what to call in Japan they use what we call a delay receipt. in that any delay above 5 minutes, the system automatically prints out a set of receipts for
Mm.
you to plug out, and you take to whoever you are meeting that indeed there was a delay on the train.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Eh?
And
And
if
yet they
it goes
even give a personal apology.
beyond,
The
no, that beyond
operators.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
the conductor has to apologize to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. The conductor,
Mm.
right.
That tells you there's a very big
I mean, the
discord.
level
In
of
Kenya,
integrity in a place like Japan, because I've heard
mm,
of even instances where a CEO has taken his whole life
yeah, they commit
things
suicide.
happen.
They call it, I think, harakiri.
Arakili, yes.
Honor, it's called honor death or honor something.
Honor
You
death,
say
yeah.
that you are not worthy of this position and you are not worthy of being alive. That's the standard they operate with. And even in
Yeah.
fact, there's this pastor who was talking of leaving a lot of money in a Japanese cab. So when he called he managed to get the number on the receipt. He called the place, he called the number, and he was told, yes, we've seen it. It has been deposited in the company's hub office. Goes there, shows his IDs and whatnot, gives his money. So he managed to track down the number for the taxi guy. So he had just a quick conversation. They asked him, so is this a religious thing? Say, no, it's not religious or anything. Has no spiritual connection. It is simply standards. It is beneath us to take things which belong to others. Nothing to do with like you'll go to hell, and you'll be jailed. You know, even if let's say there are no consequences of stealing, we would not steal. It's a standards thing. It's not an enforcement thing. It's not a consequence oriented. It is simply a standard oriented. We do not. There
You
are things.
know, I think I saw somebody on Twitter today post, the test of theft. These people do some of these things in
Mm,
Dubai. He was at a cafe,
mm,
and he was seated like in an open air space. He left his phone and went 10 minutes away, I think, to a harbor place and spent almost an hour. He came back, still found his phone and everything intact. And that made me realize, I think we have sort of normalized, or would I say, accepted that the crime that we live in is like a norm in the various cities that we live in. We've taken it as a norm, while it is actually a solvable problem. I mean, the likes of UAE and Japan, and even places like here, Rwanda, where they have a near crime-free society. Near crime-free. I'm not saying it's 100%, but some of the things that we've seen as though they are normal, that I always have to look at the mirror, that I can't walk at night down a street, that I always have to clutch my bag, and I'm always at sort of a level of unease, that I have to go home early, that you find, because many of these places, if you go to the likes of Dubai and many of these, they come alive at night. Okay, partly it's the weather, because it's too hot
During
to
the
be
day,
walking out and
it's
about.
normally hot. Mm,
But the point is, I mean, even somebody was sharing the other day, I think on a Twitter space, that if you go to some of the Dubai malls, that you can go to some of these high-end luxury outlets, the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci outlets, and they're literally open with no one man in them. That you can go there at 2, 3 a.m. and still do your window shopping. The owner has left everything as it is,
Even
with
in
no
Singapore,
fear that somebody will grab something, steal
even in
something.
Singapore,
Even in Singapore. Yeah, Singapore was also another case. I think somebody left his laptop at a coffee shop, did that test, went did his errands or whatever it was, came back, found it still the way it was. So these problems are solvable. I think we've accepted crime, and in a sense, we've become slaves of crime because that crime that we've accepted, that somebody can come with a gun or a knife, threaten your life, take your belongings. Um, we've accepted that as a norm, and I think it's a bad thing. And these societies, and I'm always amazed by places like Dubai, where, think of Dubai, the immigrants are more than the natives. Because somebody might say, the security or insecurity has come about because we've allowed all these immigrants to come in and they have sort of polluted some of our cultures and ways of life. But how is it that they have still maintained to enforce those values, those
I
conducts,
remember there was
even
a
with
Twitter,
new entrants coming in?
there's
They
this
have
Twitter
ensured at
video.
least their values, trump everything else.
There was this Twitter video of some guy in America. This is a black man. He said he normally lives in the hood. They call it
Yeah,
the hood. So
yeah,
he went to a white neighborhood
yeah,
in
yeah.
a
I
supermarket.
saw
The guy got
yeah,
shocked. You saw it.
yeah, I saw
Everything is
that.
displayed outside. They're
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
You pay and then you just things that
Check
you
whatever you want. Yeah.
and they say in the hood you can't do this.
Yeah, I remember him saying this shit can't happen in a black neighborhood.
Hmm.
This, I mean, and yes, and it's exactly what you've said. Because this was actually, it was like a petrol station. And you could go buy snacks and whatever. So you pick, and they have this kind of cultures, I think, mostly in some of those rural parts of America or in Europe, where even farmers, sort of put their harvests out on the side of the road. So it could be a bunch of apples, vegetables, whatever it might be. Pick what you want,
Hmm.
leave
And
the
pay.
money there,
Hmm.
and go.
Hmm.
But what is this uncivilized life for human beings we've become that we can't
I think,
self-govern ourselves effectively?
man, you do that in Kenya. First, they are going to scout that area. They do a reconnaissance. Mtu apite once, apite ya
A
pili,
monitor,
a monitor. They'll even come with a walkie-talkie and say, "Control, we are good to go." Utasikia kanta imekuja sasa. They'll ship
boom.
everything and then go. And you can see, remember that vehicle which overturned, carrying food, take some aid going to Northeastern. And then people were stopping their cars, loading sacks in their vehicles and driving off.
And the amazing thing you would think is the poor doing this. These are
No,
so-called the middle class Kenyans. So it's
the
like
so-called
they are thieves in
enlightened
us.
people, the so-called high-class people, the so-called what do I call them? Civilized society
How
are
do
the
you do
ones who
that?
get. Yes.
Ridiculous.
The good thing is that you have the opportunity to chart your own path. Like this week, I received 8,000 shillings from someone I don't know. 8K. I
In
called them,
M-Pesa.
hey, yeah, M-Pesa. Sema, hey, what the fuck? What happened? Sema, nilikutuma hiyo pesa accidentally. So I confirmed my M-Pesa number. Yes, it is there. Then I told him what to do. Get in touch with Safaricom. Then they call you that number 0722 what not. Then they tell you, you have to accept to return the money.
Yeah, yeah. You reverse
Uh,
it. Yeah. There's that
so
reversal
I
process.
accepted it. Called the guy. They said, "Hey, they are so grateful. What not?" I
You
think
couldn't
they were
believe
even
it.
they were shocked. See, uh, some things you do not do because you don't want to go to prison. As that guy in Japan, you do them because it is your standard. That is why you not find a lion chasing after rats. Rats are easy to catch. I'm sure the lion can hunt even 100 rats in a day and get satisfied. But it's not
You
its
know, I
standard.
remember it
Mm.
reminds me of one time I was in a taxi and I was seated with some guy. You know, to get a feel of how we've normalized some of these things. That stealing, to some degree, some people see it as a virtue, particularly if you're working in government. Kuiba mali ya umma. He was talking of somebody who, you know, had high integrity, worked in government, didn't steal a thing, and he was branding this person as being stupid,
A fool. Yeah,
as being
I
a
know.
fool,
Mm.
that he didn't steal. Can you imagine
Yeah, in
how
fact,
things we've turned things upside down, man?
you're
And he
like,
spoke that with no level of remorse.
yes, you're stupid. Hmm? Hii ni pesa inakuangalia, mbona uibi? That's not my money. It's not my money. Some case with some guy is I call more of a clansman, come from the same clan, retired from Kenya Revenue Authority, and he went to live in Western in his 3 bedroom house, permanent house, just a normal 3 bedroom in his own compound. And the people, mbona wenzako wamejenga nyumba kubwa kubwa, sijui nini nini. He was like,
Ana
but
magari.
yeah, but my positions did not allow that. But these other guys wanakuambia, but you used to work with them in the same office. Yes, those guys are touted as heroes. Hmm? Yeah, and the money they are stealing, that is the money that could have been used to build a hospital, build a clinic, build a road somewhere, do something nice. It could have been used to do things that government could fund without loans.
I mean, have you seen the recent images out of Sugoi?
No, what's going on there?
People lining up to get.
Oh yeah. I saw it on Twitter. It was like a voting line. They were lining for goodies from the president, right?
Yeah.
How sunk? Do you need to sink so low and become so mentally decrepit that you, with your faculties, with your capacity to think, with your capacity to work, with your capacity to invent, with your capacity to innovate, capacity to solve, capacity to improve, you wake up very early. It was dark. I think how
Yeah,
early
it was in the AM, like 2, 3 a.m. Let
to
me try and
line
see if
up
I can get that
to
email.
receive goodies. And to make matters work, the president does not castigate such a situation.
Can you imagine? I mean, you can't tell me this is a transformative president
No
with
way. Hiyo
that
nimekataa.
kind of mentality and enforcing that kind of
No, that is
even the sort of donation was branded with his name.
that tells you that no wonder whenever you try to do something different, you face so much castigation because you are going against the grain. Where would these are grown-ups? I thought Maraconda, I thought it was are we having a by-election? Then someone pointed out that the president is dishing out goodies. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is this?
it's here. Let me share this one. I mean, it was not a site that. Yeah, let me confirm the time. The time was anyway. It was early in the morning.
Man,
There are even some images here. You see this one? He's
President William
getting
Ruto.
good.
What is contained in that bag?
I don't know. Maybe it would be a bag of unga, oil, and stuff like that. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, this is, of course, our own tax dollars, but it's branded as though it's a personal donation. If it is his personal donation, yeah, that's fine. You can label it as such because, but he hasn't sourced that from his money. Look at this oil. This is how it
this
is
can
being
be.
branded as generosity, keeping people impoverished, literally. The sad
I,
image is a
I
very
don't
sad
think
image.
I don't think there's going to be any invention from that area.
Yeah, it's peddling poverty here, keeping people impoverished.
I don't think even if you give that area 100 years, nothing is going to be invented from there. Not with that
Yeah.
mind. And that I would categorize as a national disaster. That is a
It
national
is.
disaster. If people can queue and that at that time of the night, so I risk getting clobbered on my way to join the queue, then to be given a sack of cereals. And these are not
So-called
small.
the gift of sharing and giving over Christmas. And then, what was I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, many of these people, I mean, that whole area is what we call the food basket of Kenya. So this should be very wealthy people. They should be more, self-sufficient, food secure, because that's where a lot of our food comes from. If you're talking about maize or whatever it is, that's our bread basket of
And,
Kenya.
and then another issue
It's a
that
very
they.
rich, it's a very rich area. None of those people should be seen begging or waiting to be given handouts or something. I mean,
And
it's
then
so
another,
sad.
yeah,
It's so sad to see such
yeah,
a
another issue that pops out at this time of the year is when you are told that sasa hiyo tutafanya mwaka ujao. And I think we discussed this some time back. What prevents you from starting now? Remember, we had a very interesting phone call, I think, this week about some personal issues we were facing. And we said, let's start working again. And you saw what I started posting right away.
yes,
We
exactly,
had a chance of saying, let's resume working next year.
exactly. In our new resolution,
Yeah.
when the new year starts, I mean, January 1st
So
is when I think
between
we should
now,
even talk
between
about this in some talks.
these, I don't know, 9 days or 8 days from now, what is in between preventing you from doing that?
What will change
Yes.
that
So this
you'll
is
be
just
this new
this is
person,
just chronology.
that you'll be able now to follow through on that
This is just
so-called goal
chronology.
that you've set.
In fact, whenever we used to travel up country some time back, we used to lose track of time or track of days. We don't know which day it is. Some time back when you were a bit younger. Up country, we never used to bother. Oh, that leo ni tarehe
Yeah.
hii.
Just 1 minute, huh? I think
Okay.
somebody's knocking at my door.
Okay.
I think
I
I
hope
know
it's
what
not
it might be.
Chantel.
No, it's not Shazam. Yes. Yes, yes. Let me grab my water. Back.
So
Back. Back.
this issue of next year, we'll do it next year. I remember, I think we had that phone call, we discussed and said, okay, listen, I think we need to simply create time to work. You cannot put your health on a standby when pursuing goals. What if you achieve these goals and then your health takes a hit? It will be a total, it will literally negate everything. And remember, it was on a Tuesday. We said, man, let's do this. We had an
Yeah.
option of saying, let's wait for next year. So in between, today is 20 what, 23rd, and I don't know, you'll get to fast and you'll say, oh, let's wait for another 4 days. We begin on 8th,
Start afresh
on
on the
8th,
1st of January.
energized. So between 23rd and 7th, what is there? What is preventing you for doing it now? Like the way the guy, like, listen, I have over 13 hours of Eddie Pinero podcast. He says, do it now.
Right
Start
now.
now. And now should be, we normally say, the problem we have, we want results now, but we don't want to take actions now. Getting outcomes now, that is what we call it a scam. Because when you hear most of these scamming scandals, is based on you, they tell you invest this amount of money in 1 year, you'll be a billionaire. Who becomes a billionaire in 1 year unless you're stealing? So the now should be on your action. Outcomes, that is between you and whatever. But the action should be on now. We lean towards wanting outcome now, but when it comes to inputs, procrastination is the order of the day. That's why I said the issue of it, oh, new year, new me, at the beginning a new year with them. No. The only new that I accept is the new that happens when I wake up in the morning, my new day. That is the only certified new. That time that you wake up the following day, that is the first day of the rest of your life. Use it now. But if you're going to say you are going to wait for some chronological thing, like, I don't know who invented the calendar. What if the calendar was never invented? What would you have done?
Exactly.
Huh. We
It's
did
just a
invent the calendar.
conceptual thing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at Ethiopia, Ethiopia must be in which year?
They
Let
are,
me check. I
they are
think they were in
currently,
2008 or something.
they are behind there.
Ethiopia.
Wako kwa mlima hapo wamevunja gearbox. Watafika after, I don't know. They have
Oh,
a very strange.
it's 2016 now in Ethiopia. They have their own calendar. I mean, who says that 2024 should start on the actual 1st of January?
So these are
It could
just
start
concepts.
even today, right now, right where you are.
Yeah,
These are
so
just
these are,
conceptual things that we create.
yes, and then because you are using your delaying tactics and you are hiding under these concepts of chronology. No, the concept of time existed before the calendar. The calendar is simply a document. I don't know who made it, but it's just a document.
It's they call it what, the Gregorian calendar. It's a Roman calendar.
Whatever. Gregory, Ama Opio, or whoever came up with it, that is between him and himself. You need to doing it is now. You are alive, you are healthy, your heart is beating, your legs are moving, you are functional. Please do it. The moment you get in this disease of next year, next year is my year, your year of doing what? If
The
anything,
year of
it will be
harvest,
it
the
will
year of the
still
Lord.
be it will still be your year of being puny.
I like it the way I know like many places on the 31st,
Hmm.
particularly with Kenyans, I know the places they park more. Of course,
Hmm.
there'll be those that will go out to the discos or
Hmm.
the clubs.
Hmm.
But even more, like I used to go to Sita Valley Road.
Yeah.
31st,
Gukesha.
man, you can't even get parking, bro. They even have to organize an overflow section of the church
Mm,
because they know the church will be totally packed. And there will
yes.
even be people seated outside, so they have to put those jumbotrons, put up tents right outside. They have to look for, other parking. I remember we used to park all the way in the DOD place. It was ridiculous, bro. There will be people who haven't been to church all year long, but that day,
So if you have not been to church for 1 year, you going to that church on that day, what is the difference? What is going to happen?
today
God will
compared to
remember it.
2024.
So you are going to get your blessings for
Yes,
2024.
exactly.
That is pure matrix, my brother. If you are not a hard-working grinder, you can even be the Pope can come and pray for you, but you still be stuck.
You still be
So
pure.
yeah, yeah. So it's you simply need to maintain or adopt the time to adopt that mentality of a grinder, that mentality of CSI, creating, solving, and improving is this instant because you have delayed. You are delaying the fact that you are in this country that has never built or invented anything since its inception. That means we are dangerously overdue. We are dangerously overdue in what we call the global table of relevance. And that is
100%.
what every leader should be thinking of. What is my country bringing to the global table? If this country was to disappear, or if the citizens of this country were to disappear, what would the world miss? I know if the Germans disappear, say goodbye to Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Grandig, and all manner
That
of
whole
wonderful.
engineering.
Yes,
I've actually noticed, and this is particularly with the West, there's particularly some machineries. It's like there's some technology they have kept for themselves.
yeah, they can't share everything.
They can share everything, bro.
Can't share
I
everything,
mean, there are things that
especially.
are broadly accessible to everyone. I mean, that's why if you think of if it's probably like aeroplane production, if it is any kind of production of military hardware, you find that there are very specific companies, and it's because the military is always several years ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, much of the technology that has now, been commercialized, domesticated, that we are now using, if it's the GPS, where did it first begin? It is the military. That's why military power. Actually, now I don't know if you watch. I watch a lot of Bloomberg technology, and the big race now is around AI.
AI,
But not on the AI as we know it. It
AI
is
in
the
war.
hardware, the chips that will drive that AI. And now they're just a very small number of people. So now they're talking of it's a global race. Of course, the big giants is the US and China. And they're saying China is moving fast. It's almost now about to eclipse the US. So there's that, and then there's around military advancement. So those two areas, those are the ones that determine a global power, bro. Hey, that's
Then
where
then
now
then they are.
that's where the real competition is at. Hii mambo ingine mnaachiwa hapa. You guys can be producing your punings in terms of okay, do your computer assembly, do your TV assembly, but huku juu, those guys are now. It's a whole different ballgame.
And we have it's only ourselves to blame
Yeah,
because already we have a head of state who's talking about exporting jobs. So that
you're
means
literally you're literally selling out your real expertise, your real resource, which is human power. I mean, as Kenya, we don't have a lot of natural resources
but the what you call the mental power is there, and each time someone has stood
the
out
mental
in
power
something,
is there, bro.
each time you stand out, you are packed away and taken to the United States or some big country.
Exactly.
Because after all, who in government will listen to you?
Yeah. I mean, I the other day there was a time I reflected on these programs that the US has, the green card, all these things. It's all around attracting the best
The
minds,
best.
the best of the best, and they want them to come to the US.
Yeah.
And that's why you'd find they're always ahead in terms of technology or any kind of thing, because they have all the brains. So if Kenya is, you know, literally selling their human capital for nothing, where does the future lie?
We are approaching a situation whereby I think we may be forced to create a category called fourth world, because I think we are below third world now. Fourth will be okay now,
We are
because
sliding down, you know?
we are slightly, because I normally
Like
say
we are
if
regressing now instead
you
of progressing.
you attend independence in 60s, early 60s, and you've never built, designed, or invented or developed anything, I think that country should be shut down with immediate effect. Shut it down. I don't know if we can be distributed to other republics based on your abilities. When and man, 1 hour and 6 minutes, free
Yes,
flow conversation, a free flow
free flow,
Saturday,
bro. And that was some nice convo, bro. Hey, that was
very
good.
free
After
flowing,
we missed
wonderful.
last Saturday, so
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I didn't
I
want to
know.
miss this
We
Saturday.
discussed that, but
Yeah.
we are on 47, 3 to 50. Soon we'll be clocking 100, and I think this is just magical. How two people, one in Kenya, one in Rwanda, can get online and ramble and talk, and we have the appreciation of our very able lone wolf audience,
No,
which are from
today it
Papa.
wasn't a long move.
No, I call him the lone wolf because he has always been there. He deserved the title of the lone wolf audience.
That's true.
When we were just a couple of guys rambling about nothing in particular, he was there supporting us. Give shout, and this Lute family was here today. Thank you very much. We have a new guy, Daniel Mungai Njuguna. Thank you so much for showing up. We are normally here between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m.
And there are
Last
some
Saturday,
silent audiences. They don't show themselves up
no problem. We
in the
appreciate
chat
your
box,
silence
but they're
also.
there.
Nasema asante sana.
Yes.
Yes, last Saturday we missed out due to one or two issues, but we are back, and we intend to be here. And I
Yeah.
don't think I'm the
The
kind
last
of guy
Saturday will be here, inshallah.
and we don't believe in telling people New Year, because I normally say when you wake up in the morning, that's the first day of the rest of your life. So have a nice new day tomorrow. So can I say adios like I normally say? Adios.
See ya.